Hello and welcome to this space of calm and reflection. I'm so glad you've chosen to spend this time with me here on the Mindful Zone. Today, we're embarking on a journey together, a journey into mastering your thoughts through the timeless wisdom of Buddhism, meditation, and mindfulness. Whether you're new to these practices or someone who's been exploring them for a while, this video is designed to meet you where you are. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by stress, anxiety, or simply the noise of everyday life. Bills pile up, deadlines loom, relationships demand attention, and before we know it, we're caught in a whirlwind of thoughts that seem impossible to control. But what if I told you there's a way to find peace within yourself, a way to quiet the chaos and cultivate clarity, joy, and resilience? That's exactly what we'll explore today. This isn't about perfection, it's about progress. It's about learning tools that can help you live more fully, moment by moment. These practices aren't reserved for monks or spiritual gurus. They're accessible to everyone, including you. All it takes is a willingness to show up, even just for a few minutes each day, and begin to notice how your mind works, and how you can work with it instead of against it. Think of this as a guidebook for your inner landscape. Over the next hour, we'll dive deep into 10 chapters, each offering insights and practical techniques drawn from Buddhism, meditation, and mindfulness. We'll talk about awareness, compassion, letting go, and how to bring these teachings into your daily life. Along the way, I'll share stories, examples, and exercises to help you connect with the material in a personal and meaningful way. Before we move forward, I invite you to take a moment to settle in. If you're sitting down, adjust your posture so you feel grounded, yet relaxed. Take a deep breath in, hold it for a second, and then exhale slowly. Let that tension melt away. This is your time, a chance to step back from the busyness of life and focus on nurturing your well-being. No matter where you are right now, whether you're juggling responsibilities at work, navigating challenges in your personal life, or simply seeking a deeper sense of purpose, you belong here. You deserve this time to reconnect with yourself. So let's create a safe and supportive environment together. As we move through this video, remember that mindfulness is not about achieving some ideal state of calm or enlightenment. It's about showing up as you are, exactly as you are, and meeting yourself with kindness. There will be moments when your mind wanders, when distractions pull you away, or when emotions arise unexpectedly, and that's okay. Each of those moments is an opportunity to practice coming back to the present over and over again. So take another deep breath. Feel your feet touching the ground and allow yourself to be fully present here with me. Together we'll explore how Buddhism, meditation, and mindfulness can transform your relationship with your thoughts and ultimately with your life. Are you ready? Let's begin. Chapter 1. What are Buddhism, meditation, and mindfulness? Welcome to Chapter 1, where we'll explore the foundations of Buddhism, meditation, and mindfulness. These three practices form the backbone of what we'll discuss throughout this video, so it's important to take some time to understand them deeply. Don't worry if you're new to these ideas, they're not as complicated as they might sound. In fact, they're incredibly practical and accessible tools for navigating life with more clarity and ease. Let's start by breaking each one down individually before we see how they connect. First up is Buddhism, a spiritual tradition that has been around for over 2,500 years. At its core, Buddhism is about understanding the nature of suffering and finding freedom from it. Now, when I say suffering, I don't mean only big, dramatic hardships like losing a loved one or facing illness. Suffering also includes the small, everyday frustrations we all experience. The irritation when someone cuts you off in traffic, the anxiety before a big presentation, or the dissatisfaction that comes from comparing yourself to others on social media. Buddhism teaches us that suffering arises because of attachment, our tendency to cling to things, outcomes, or even identities. For example, think about how much energy we spend trying to hold on to relationships, possessions, or achievements, believing they'll make us happy forever. But nothing lasts forever, and when change inevitably happens, we suffer. The good news is that Buddhism offers a path out of this cycle of clinging and dissatisfaction. It encourages us to cultivate awareness, compassion, and wisdom, helping us relate to life in a healthier, more balanced way. One of the most profound teachings in Buddhism is the concept of impermanence. Everything in life changes. All emotions, situations, and even our thoughts come and go. When we truly internalize this truth, we stop resisting change and start embracing it. Instead of fearing loss or chasing after fleeting pleasures, we learn to find peace in the present moment. This shift in perspective can be incredibly liberating. Now let's talk about meditation. Meditation is often associated with Buddhism, but it's actually a practice that transcends any one religion or culture. At its simplest, meditation is the act of training your mind to focus and become aware of the present moment. Think of it like exercise for your brain. Just as physical activity strengthens your muscles, meditation strengthens your ability to concentrate, regulate emotions, and respond skillfully to challenges. There are many different types of meditation, but one of the most common, and the one we'll focus on today, is mindfulness meditation. In mindfulness meditation, you sit quietly and pay attention to something specific, such as your breath, bodily sensations, or sounds around you. Whenever your mind wanders, and trust me, it will wander, you gently bring your attention back to your chosen point of focus. Over time, this practice helps you develop greater awareness and self-control. It's worth noting that meditation doesn't require any special equipment or fancy settings. You don't need to sit in a perfect lotus position or chant mantras unless those things resonate with you. All you need is a willingness to show up and try. Even 5 minutes a day can make a noticeable difference in your mental clarity and emotional well-being.
Finally, let's turn our attention to mindfulness. If meditation is the formal practice of training your mind, then mindfulness is the art of applying that training to everyday life. Mindfulness means paying attention to what's happening right now without judgment. It's about noticing the details of your experience. The taste of your coffee, the rhythm of your breathing, the sensation of your feet touching the ground as they unfold in real time. The key word here is non-judgment. So often we move through life evaluating everything we encounter. This is good, that's bad, why did I do that? Judgment creates a layer of unnecessary stress and distraction. When we practice mindfulness, we let go of those evaluations and simply observe what's happening. This doesn't mean ignoring problems or pretending everything is fine. It means approaching life with curiosity and openness rather than reacting automatically. To illustrate how powerful mindfulness can be, consider this example. Imagine you're stuck in traffic, late for an important meeting. Your first instinct might be to feel frustrated, maybe even angry, but instead of spiraling into negativity, you pause and take a few deep breaths. You notice the tension in your shoulders and consciously relax them. You observe the thoughts racing through your mind. I'm going to be late. This always happens. And remind yourself that these are just thoughts, not facts. By grounding yourself in the present moment, you regain a sense of calm and control, even in a stressful situation. So, how do Buddhism, meditation, and mindfulness fit together? Think of them as interconnected pieces of a puzzle. Buddhism provides the philosophical framework, the why behind these practices. Meditation gives you the tools to train your mind, the how. And mindfulness is the result, the ability to live fully and authentically in every moment. Together they create a holistic approach to personal growth and well-being. But here's the thing, you don't have to adopt all of these practices at once. Start small. Maybe you begin by setting aside 5 minutes a day to meditate. Or perhaps you experiment with being more mindful during routine activities like brushing your teeth or washing dishes. Over time, you'll likely find that these practices naturally weave themselves into your daily life, creating a ripple effect of positive change. As we move forward, keep in mind that this journey is unique to you. There's no right or wrong way to practice Buddhism, meditation, or mindfulness. What matters most is your intention to show up, stay curious, and give yourself permission to grow. Before we transition to the next chapter,
I'd like to leave you with a question to reflect on. How do you currently relate to your thoughts and emotions? Do you tend to push them away, get swept up in them, or observe them with curiosity? Take a moment to consider this as we continue exploring ways to master your thoughts. Chapter 2: The Power of Awareness. Welcome to Chapter 2, where we'll dive deeply into one of the most transformative teachings from Buddhism and mindfulness, the power of awareness. Awareness is the cornerstone of everything we're exploring today. It's the foundation upon which meditation, mindfulness, and personal growth are built. But what exactly does it mean to be aware, and why is awareness so important for mastering your thoughts and living a more fulfilling life? Let's unpack this together. At its essence, awareness is about paying attention, really paying attention to what's happening in the present moment. It's about noticing your thoughts, emotions, sensations, and surroundings without getting lost in them or reacting automatically. Think of it as stepping back just enough to observe your experience from a place of curiosity rather than judgment. And this might sound simple, but in practice, it's incredibly profound. To illustrate why awareness matters, let me ask you this. How often do you go through your day on autopilot? You wake up, check your phone, rush through breakfast, drive to work, scroll through social media during breaks, and then collapse into bed at night, only to repeat the cycle the next day. If this sounds familiar, don't worry, you're not alone. Most of us live large portions of our lives on autopilot, moving from task to task without truly being present. The problem with living on autopilot is that it disconnects us from the richness of life. When we're not fully present, we miss out on the small joys, the warmth of the sun on our skin, the taste of our favorite meal, the laughter of a loved one. We also become more reactive, responding to situations based on habit rather than conscious choice. For example, have you ever snapped at someone because you were stressed only to regret it later? Or found yourself scrolling endlessly through social media, feeling worse afterward, but unable to stop? These moments happen because we're not fully aware of what's driving our behavior. Awareness gives us the ability to pause before reacting. It creates space between stimulus and response, a concept famously described by Viktor Frankl, who said, "Between stimulus and response there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. That space is where awareness lives." By cultivating awareness, we can begin to notice patterns in our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, giving us the opportunity to make wiser choices. Let's take a closer look at how awareness works in practice. Imagine you're having a conversation with someone and they say something that triggers irritation or defensiveness in you. Without awareness, you might react impulsively, raising your voice, shutting down emotionally, or saying something hurtful. But if you're aware, you can catch yourself in that initial reaction. You might notice the physical signs of irritation, like tension in your chest or heat rising in your face. You might observe the thoughts running through your mind. They don't understand me, and this isn't fair. Instead of acting on those thoughts, you can pause, take a deep breath, and choose how to respond. This doesn't mean suppressing your emotions or pretending everything is okay. On the contrary, awareness allows you to acknowledge your feelings without being controlled by them. It helps you see that emotions are temporary. They come and go like clouds passing across the sky. When you recognize this, you no longer need to cling to pleasant emotions or push away unpleasant ones. You can simply let them be, knowing they'll pass in time. One of the most powerful tools for developing awareness is mindfulness meditation. As I mentioned earlier, mindfulness meditation involves focusing your attention on something specific, such as your breath, bodily sensations, or sounds around you. Whenever your mind wanders, and trust me, it will wander, you gently bring your attention back to your chosen point of focus. Over time, this practice strengthens your ability to stay present and observe your thoughts and emotions without getting swept away by them. But meditation isn't the only way to cultivate awareness. You can practice being mindful in everyday activities too. For instance, Try eating a meal with full awareness. Notice the colors, textures, and flavors of your food. Pay attention to the sensation of chewing and swallowing. Observe any thoughts or emotions that arise as you eat. Is there a sense of impatience urging you to rush through the meal, or perhaps gratitude for the nourishment it provides? By bringing awareness to ordinary moments like these, you train your mind to be more present in all areas of your life. Another powerful aspect of awareness is learning to recognize habitual patterns. Many of us fall into repetitive cycles of thinking and behaving without realizing it. For example, maybe you tend to criticize yourself whenever you make a mistake, replaying the error over and over in your mind. Or perhaps you avoid difficult conversations because you fear conflict. By becoming aware of these patterns, you can start to challenge them and create new, healthier habits. Here's an exercise to help you identify your own patterns. Take a few minutes each evening to reflect on your day. Ask yourself questions like, what emotions did I experience today? How did I respond to challenges? Were there moments when I felt disconnected or distracted? Write down your answers in a journal if you'd like. Over time, you'll begin to see recurring themes and gain insight into how you can grow. Awareness also extends beyond our internal world to include our relationships with others. When we're fully present with someone, listening attentively, observing their body language, and tuning into their emotions, we deepen our connection with them. Conversely, when we're distracted or preoccupied, we risk missing important cues and damaging the relationship. Practicing awareness in interactions reminds us that every moment is an opportunity to nurture kindness, empathy, and understanding. Now, let's talk about some common misconceptions about awareness. One is that being aware means achieving a constant state of calm or happiness. In reality, awareness is about embracing the full spectrum of human experience, the highs and the lows, the joys and the sorrows. It's not about avoiding discomfort, it's about meeting it with openness and curiosity. Another misconception is that awareness requires a lot of time or effort. While formal practices like meditation can certainly help, awareness can also be cultivated in small, subtle ways throughout your day. Even taking 3 deep breaths before answering a question or pausing to notice the sensation of your feet touching the ground can make a difference. As we continue this journey, I encourage you to experiment with awareness in your own life. Start small. Maybe you set aside 5 minutes each morning to sit quietly and observe your breath. Or perhaps you commit to being fully present during one activity each day, whether it's brushing your teeth, walking outside, or talking to a friend. Whatever you choose, approach it with gentleness and patience. Remember, awareness is a skill that grows over time. It's not something you master overnight. Before we move on to the next chapter, I'd like to leave you with another reflection question. What are some areas of your life where you feel disconnected or distracted? How might practicing awareness help you reconnect with those moments? Take a moment to consider this as we continue exploring ways to master your thoughts. Chapter 3: Understanding the Nature of Thoughts. Welcome to Chapter 3, where we'll explore one of the most profound and liberating insights you can gain through mindfulness and Buddhism: understanding the nature of thoughts. Our minds are incredibly powerful. They shape how we perceive the world, interpret events, and interact with others. But they can also be a source of confusion, stress, and suffering if we don't understand how they work. Today we'll delve deeply into what thoughts are, why they arise, and how we can learn to relate to them in a healthier way. Let's start by acknowledging something fundamental. We all have thoughts, thousands of them every single day. They pop up unbidden, often without our conscious control. Some thoughts are helpful or inspiring, others are repetitive, negative, or downright unhelpful. The challenge isn't necessarily stopping these thoughts from arising, that's nearly impossible, but rather learning how to respond to them skillfully. One of the key teachings in Buddhism is that thoughts are not inherently you. They're like clouds passing across the sky of your mind. Sometimes they're light and fluffy, bringing a sense of peace or joy. Other times they're dark and stormy, stirring up fear, anger, or sadness. But here's the crucial insight: just as clouds don't define the sky, thoughts don't define you. You are the observer, the spacious awareness in which thoughts arise, linger, and eventually dissolve. This perspective is incredibly empowering because it shifts the relationship you have with your thoughts. Instead of identifying with them or believing everything they tell you, you can begin to see them for what they truly are: temporary mental events. For example, imagine having a thought like, "I'm not good enough." If you identify with this thought, it can spiral into self-doubt, anxiety, or even depression. But if you recognize it as just a thought, one of many passing through your mind, you can let it go without giving it power over you. To illustrate this further, let's consider how thoughts arise in the first place. Thoughts are often triggered by external stimuli or internal associations. For instance, seeing an email from your boss might spark thoughts about deadlines or performance reviews. Similarly, hearing a song on the radio might remind you of a past relationship, triggering memories and emotions tied to that experience. These connections happen automatically, thanks to the brain's incredible ability to link information and experiences. The problem arises when we cling to certain thoughts or believe them uncritically. This tendency is rooted in what Buddhists call attachment, the habit of holding on to things, ideas, or identities as if they were permanent or absolute truths. When we attach ourselves to a particular thought, we give it weight and significance, allowing it to shape our mood, behavior, and even our sense of self. Over time, this attachment can lead to unnecessary suffering. For example, think about how often we replay negative thoughts in our minds. Maybe you made a mistake at work, and now you're obsessing over it, imagining worst-case scenarios or criticizing yourself harshly. This kind of rumination keeps you stuck in a cycle of negativity, making it harder to move forward. But here's the thing: the thought itself isn't the problem, it's your relationship to it. By learning to observe your thoughts without judgment, you can break free from this cycle. So, how do we develop this skill? One effective practice is labeling your thoughts. Whenever you notice a thought arising, simply name it. For example, worry, judgment, planning, or fantasy. Labeling helps create distance between you and your thoughts, reminding you that they're just mental events, not facts. It's like shining a flashlight on them, exposing their transient nature. Another helpful technique is visualization. Imagine your thoughts as leaves floating down a stream. As each thought arises, picture it landing gently on the surface of the water and drifting away. Don't try to stop the flow of thoughts or change their content. Just let them come and go naturally. This exercise reinforces the idea that thoughts are impermanent and don't need to control you. Now let's talk about some common types of thoughts and how they affect us. One category is automatic negative thoughts, often referred to as ants. These are the critical, pessimistic thoughts that pop up seemingly out of nowhere, undermining our confidence and well-being. Examples include, "I'll never succeed," "no one likes me," or "everything always goes wrong." While these thoughts may feel true in the moment, they're usually distortions of reality. Recognizing them as such is the first step toward letting them go. On the flip side, there are positive or neutral thoughts that can support our growth and happiness. Gratitude, curiosity, and compassion are examples of constructive ways of thinking that foster resilience and connection. By cultivating these kinds of thoughts intentionally, we can counterbalance the negativity bias that our brains are wired for. It's also important to acknowledge that not all thoughts require action. Many of us feel compelled to act on every thought that crosses our mind, especially if it seems urgent or compelling. But the truth is, most thoughts aren't worth pursuing. Learning to discern which thoughts deserve attention and which ones can simply be observed and released is a valuable life skill. Here's a practical exercise to help you practice discernment. The next time you notice a thought arising, ask yourself 3 questions. Is this thought helpful or harmful? Does it align with my values and goals? Would acting on this thought bring me closer to peace and fulfillment or push me further away? By reflecting on these questions, you can decide whether to engage with the thought or let it pass by. Understanding the nature of thoughts also involves recognizing patterns. Many of us have recurring themes in our thinking, such as perfectionism, self-criticism, or catastrophizing. Identifying these patterns gives you insight into areas where you can grow and heal. Journaling can be a powerful tool for uncovering these patterns. Try writing down your thoughts regularly, especially during moments of stress or discomfort. Look for trends over time. Are there specific triggers or contexts that bring up certain types of thoughts? Finally, let's address the role of mindfulness in working with thoughts. Mindfulness teaches us to observe our thoughts without getting caught up in them. It's like watching a movie. You see the characters and plot unfold, but you remember that it's just a story, not reality. This detachment allows you to respond to situations more wisely, rather than reacting impulsively based on fleeting thoughts or emotions. As we wrap up this chapter, I want to leave you with a reminder. Your thoughts are not enemies to be feared or avoided. They're natural expressions of your mind, shaped by countless factors beyond your control. The goal isn't to silence your thoughts or achieve some mythical state of emptiness. It's to develop a healthier relationship with them. By practicing awareness, curiosity, and non-judgment, you can transform your inner dialogue and reclaim your peace of mind. Before we move on to the next chapter, take a moment to reflect on this question. What patterns or habits of thinking do you notice in yourself? How might observing your thoughts with kindness and curiosity help you break free from limiting beliefs? Allow yourself to sit with this question as we continue exploring ways to master your thoughts. Chapter 4. Cultivating Compassion. Welcome to Chapter 4, where we'll explore one of the most transformative qualities you can cultivate within yourself: compassion. Compassion is at the heart of Buddhism, mindfulness, and personal growth. It's not just a lofty ideal or something reserved for saints. It's a practical skill that anyone can develop, and when practiced consistently, it has the power to heal relationships, reduce stress, and bring profound meaning to your life. Let's begin by defining what compassion truly means. At its core, compassion is the ability to recognize suffering, whether in yourself or others, and feel motivated to alleviate it. It's more than empathy, which involves understanding someone else's pain. Compassion takes that understanding a step further, inspiring action, even if it's as simple as offering a kind word or listening attentively. One of the beautiful things about compassion is that it benefits both the giver and the receiver. Research shows that practicing compassion boosts happiness, reduces anxiety and depression, and strengthens social connections. When you act with kindness and care, you not only improve someone else's day, you also nurture your own sense of purpose and well-being. But here's an important truth: compassion starts with you. Before you can extend compassion to others, you must first learn to treat yourself with kindness. This concept is known as self-compassion, and it's a cornerstone of emotional resilience. Many of us are quick to criticize ourselves when we make mistakes or fall short of expectations. We might call ourselves names, replay failures in our minds, or compare ourselves unfavorably to others. Over time, this self-criticism erodes our confidence and creates unnecessary suffering. Self-compassion invites us to relate to ourselves differently. Instead of judging or berating ourselves, we offer the same warmth and understanding we'd give to a dear friend. For example, imagine you failed at something important, a project at work, a personal goal, or even a conversation that didn't go as planned. Rather than spiraling into self-blame, you could say to yourself, "It's okay. Everyone makes mistakes. I'm doing my best, and I'll learn from this experience." This shift in perspective doesn't excuse poor choices or absolve responsibility. It simply acknowledges your humanity and encourages growth. Practicing self-compassion requires 3 key elements, according to psychologist Dr. Kristin Neff: mindfulness, common humanity, and self-kindness. Mindfulness allows you to acknowledge your pain without exaggerating or suppressing it. Common humanity reminds you that suffering is part of the shared human experience. You're not alone in your struggles. And self-kindness means treating yourself with gentleness and care, especially during difficult times. Together, these components create a foundation for healing and self-acceptance. Now let's talk about how to cultivate compassion toward others. One of the simplest ways to do this is through acts of kindness. These don't have to be grand gestures. They can be small, everyday actions that brighten someone's day. Holding the door open for a stranger, sending a thoughtful text message, or volunteering your time are all examples of compassionate behavior. Each act sends ripples of positivity into the world, creating a chain reaction of goodwill. Another powerful practice is loving-kindness meditation, also known as metta meditation in Buddhism. In this practice, you silently repeat phrases of goodwill and kindness, directing them first toward yourself, then toward loved ones, acquaintances, and eventually all beings. A typical sequence might sound like this: may I be safe, may I be healthy, may I be happy, may I live with ease. May you be safe, may you be healthy, may you be happy, may you live with ease. May all beings be safe, may all beings be healthy, may all beings be happy, may all beings live with ease. Repeating these phrases helps soften the heart and expand your capacity for compassion. It reminds you that everyone, regardless of their circumstances, deserves love and care. Even if you struggle to feel compassion for certain individuals, practicing metta meditation can help bridge that gap, fostering forgiveness and understanding. Compassion also plays a vital role in resolving conflicts and repairing relationships. When tensions arise, it's easy to become defensive or lash out, but responding with compassion changes the dynamic entirely. Instead of escalating the situation, you approach it with curiosity and empathy. You ask questions like, what's really going on here? What does this person need? This mindset diffuses anger and opens the door to constructive dialogue. Of course, cultivating compassion isn't always easy. There will be moments when you feel resistant, tired, or overwhelmed. That's perfectly normal. The key is to start small and build gradually. For instance, if you notice judgmental thoughts creeping in about yourself or others, you can pause and reframe them with kindness. Instead of thinking, I'm such a failure, try saying, I'm learning and growing every day. Instead of labeling someone as rude or annoying, consider what challenges they might be facing that led to their behavior. Compassion also extends beyond interpersonal interactions to include larger societal issues. By recognizing the interconnectedness of all living beings, you begin to see how your actions impact the world around you. Supporting causes you believe in, advocating for justice, and reducing harm to the environment are all expressions of compassion on a broader scale. These efforts remind us that we're part of something greater than ourselves, a web of life that thrives when we nurture it with care. Now, let's address some common obstacles to compassion. One challenge is the fear of vulnerability. Being compassionate often requires opening your heart, which can feel risky or uncomfortable. You might worry about being taken advantage of or rejected. While these concerns are valid, remember that true compassion comes from a place of strength, not weakness. It empowers you to connect deeply with others while maintaining healthy boundaries. Another obstacle is burnout, particularly for those who regularly care for others, such as healthcare workers, teachers, or caregivers. Compassion fatigue occurs when you give too much of yourself without replenishing your own reserves. To prevent this, it's essential to prioritize self-care and set limits. Practicing self-compassion ensures that you have the energy and emotional bandwidth to continue giving generously. Finally, let's talk about how compassion transforms your inner landscape. When you embrace compassion, you shift from a mindset of scarcity to one of abundance. Scarcity thinking assumes there's never enough time, money, love, success, and fosters competition and fear. Abundance thinking, fueled by compassion, recognizes that there's enough for everyone and encourages collaboration and generosity. This shift not only improves your relationships, but also enhances your overall quality of life. As we conclude this chapter, I want to leave you with an invitation. Make compassion a daily practice. Start by setting aside a few minutes each morning to reflect on your intentions. Ask yourself, how can I bring more kindness into my interactions today? How can I support myself and others with patience and care? Then look for opportunities throughout your day to put those intentions into action. Before we move on to the next chapter, take a moment to reflect on this question. Where in your life could you use more compassion toward yourself or others? How might practicing compassion transform your experiences and relationships? Allow yourself to sit with this question as we continue exploring ways to master your thoughts. Chapter 5: The Art of Letting Go. Welcome to Chapter 5, where we'll explore one of the most liberating yet challenging practices you can embrace: the art of letting go. Letting go is a cornerstone of Buddhism, mindfulness, and personal growth. It's about releasing what no longer serves you, whether it's attachments, expectations, or emotional burdens, and making space for peace, clarity, and renewal. While the idea of letting go might sound simple, it's often one of the hardest skills to master. But with practice, it becomes a powerful tool for navigating life's ups and downs with grace and resilience. Let's start by acknowledging something fundamental. Much of our suffering stems from attachment. In Buddhism, attachment refers to our tendency to cling to things, possessions, relationships, identities, outcomes, or even ideas, as if they were permanent or essential to our happiness. We believe that holding on to these things will bring us security, fulfillment, or joy. But here's the paradox. The tighter we hold on, the more we suffer when change inevitably occurs. Change is the only constant in life. Seasons shift, relationships evolve, careers take unexpected turns, and our bodies age. Even our thoughts and emotions are constantly in flux. When we resist this truth, we create unnecessary pain for ourselves. Letting go doesn't mean giving up or detaching completely. It means embracing impermanence and trusting the natural flow of life. To illustrate this, let's consider an example. Imagine you're planning a special event, a wedding, a vacation, or a milestone celebration. You pour your heart into every detail, envisioning how perfect it will be. But then something goes wrong. Maybe the weather ruins the outdoor venue, or a key guest can't attend. If you're deeply attached to your vision of perfection, this setback might feel devastating. However, if you can let go of rigid expectations and focus instead on the present moment, you open yourself to new possibilities. Perhaps the rain creates a cozy atmosphere indoors, or the smaller gathering allows for deeper connections. By releasing attachment, you transform disappointment into gratitude and adaptability. Now, let's talk about how letting go applies to emotions. Many of us carry emotional baggage, unresolved anger, guilt, grief, or regret that weighs us down. These emotions often stem from past experiences that we haven't fully processed or released. While it's natural to want to avoid painful feelings, suppressing them only prolongs their impact. Letting go involves facing these emotions with courage and compassion, allowing them to surface, be acknowledged, and eventually dissolve. One effective way to release emotional burdens is through journaling. Writing down your thoughts and feelings provides a safe outlet for self-expression, helps you identify patterns, gain perspective, and release tension. For instance, if you've been holding on to resentment towards someone, try writing a letter, even if you don't send it, expressing everything you've been unable to say. This process can be cathartic, helping you move toward forgiveness, not necessarily for the other person's sake, but for your own peace of mind. Mindfulness meditation is another powerful tool for letting go. During meditation, you observe your thoughts and emotions as they arise, without judgment or attachment. Instead of trying to push away difficult feelings or cling to pleasant ones, you simply let them come and go like clouds passing across the sky. Over time, this practice teaches you to hold experiences lightly, reducing the grip they have on your mind. Letting go also extends to material possessions and external achievements. Our culture often equates success with accumulation, more money, bigger houses, fancier cars. But true fulfillment comes not from what we acquire, but from how we live. Minimalism, a lifestyle rooted in simplicity and intentionality, aligns closely with the principle of letting go. By decluttering your physical space and focusing on what truly matters, you create room for joy, creativity, and connection. Here's a practical exercise to help you practice letting go. Choose one area of your life, your home, your schedule, your relationships, and identify something you're ready to release. It could be an item you no longer use, a commitment that drains your energy, or a limiting belief that holds you back. Take action to let it go, whether that means donating the item, saying no to future obligations, or reframing the belief with kindness and curiosity. Notice how this act of release affects your sense of freedom and well-being. Another aspect of letting go is surrendering control. So many of us spend our days trying to micromanage every detail, believing that if we just work harder or plan better, we can ensure a specific outcome. But life is unpredictable, and clinging too tightly to control only leads to frustration and exhaustion. Surrendering doesn't mean giving up. It means trusting that you'll find a way forward even when things don't go according to plan. To cultivate this mindset, practice radical acceptance. Radical acceptance means acknowledging reality exactly as it is, without resistance or denial. For example, if you're stuck in traffic and running late, instead of stewing in frustration, remind yourself, this is the situation right now. I can't change it, but I can choose how to respond. This shift in perspective reduces stress and empowers you to act from a place of calm rather than reactivity. Letting go is also deeply connected to forgiveness. Holding on to grudges or resentments keeps us tethered to the past, preventing us from moving forward. Forgiveness doesn't mean condoning harmful behavior or forgetting what happened. It means releasing the hold that pain has on your heart. Start by forgiving yourself for mistakes you've made, recognizing that imperfection is part of being human. Then extend that same compassion to others, understanding that everyone acts out of their own struggles and limitations. Finally, let's address the role of mindfulness in practicing letting go. Mindfulness teaches us to stay grounded in the present moment, rather than dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. When you catch yourself ruminating or catastrophizing, gently bring your attention back to the here and now. Focus on your breath, the sensations in your body, or the sounds around you. This anchors you in the present, where peace and clarity reside. As we wrap up this chapter, I want to leave you with a reminder. Letting go is not a one-time event. It's an ongoing practice. There will always be new challenges, losses, and changes to navigate. But each time you choose to release what no longer serves you, you strengthen your capacity for resilience and joy. Before we move on to the next chapter, take a moment to reflect on this question. What are you holding on to that no longer serves you? How might letting go of it, even just a little bit, create space for peace and possibility in your life? Allow yourself to sit with this question as we continue exploring ways to master your thoughts. Chapter 6. The Practice of Gratitude. Welcome to Chapter 6, where we'll explore one of the most transformative practices you can incorporate into your daily life: gratitude. Gratitude is more than just saying thank you or feeling appreciative. It's a profound mindset that shifts your perspective, deepens your connections, and enhances your overall well-being. When practiced consistently, gratitude has the power to transform ordinary moments into extraordinary ones, filling your life with joy and meaning. Let's begin by understanding what gratitude truly means. At its core, gratitude is the act of recognizing and appreciating the good things in your life, both big and small. It's about focusing on what you do have rather than dwelling on what you lack. This simple shift in focus can have a profound impact on your mental and emotional state. Studies show that practicing gratitude reduces stress, increases happiness, improves sleep quality, and strengthens relationships. In short, gratitude is a powerful antidote to negativity and dissatisfaction. But here's the key insight. Gratitude isn't just a passive emotion, it's an active practice. It requires intention and effort, especially when life feels challenging. During difficult times, it's easy to get caught up in frustration, fear, or sadness. Practicing gratitude during these moments doesn't mean ignoring your struggles. It means finding light even in the darkness. For example, if you're going through a tough breakup, you might feel heartbroken and lost. But you could also acknowledge the lessons you've learned, the growth you've experienced, or the support you've received from friends and family. By doing so, you create a sense of balance, reminding yourself that even amidst pain, there are still blessings to be found. One of the most effective ways to cultivate gratitude is through journaling. Keeping a gratitude journal involves writing down 3 to 5 things you're grateful for each day. These don't have to be monumental achievements. They can be as simple as a delicious cup of coffee, a kind word from a stranger, or the beauty of a sunset. The act of writing them down helps solidify these positive experiences in your mind, making it easier to recall them later. Over time, this practice trains your brain to notice and appreciate the positives in your life, creating a virtuous cycle of positivity. Another powerful technique is expressing gratitude directly to others. Think about someone who has made a difference in your life, a friend, family member, teacher, or colleague, and take the time to thank them sincerely. You could write a heartfelt letter, send a thoughtful message, or simply say, "I appreciate you." Not only does this strengthen your bond with that person, but it also reinforces your own sense of connection and fulfillment. Research shows that expressing gratitude boosts both the giver's and the receiver's happiness, creating a ripple effect of kindness and goodwill. Now, let's talk about how gratitude intersects with mindfulness. Mindfulness teaches us to pay attention to the present moment with curiosity and openness. When combined with gratitude, this awareness becomes even richer. Instead of rushing through your day on autopilot, you begin to notice the small joys around you, the sound of birds chirping, the warmth of sunlight on your skin, the laughter of children playing nearby. By savoring these moments, you deepen your appreciation for life's beauty and complexity. Gratitude also helps counteract our natural tendency toward negativity bias. Our brains are wired to prioritize threats and challenges because they played a crucial role in survival during humanity's early days. While this instinct was useful back then, it often leads to unnecessary stress and pessimism in modern life. Practicing gratitude rewires your brain, helping you focus on the positives and see the world through a lens of abundance rather than scarcity. To illustrate this, consider how gratitude can reframe adversity. Imagine you didn't get the job you wanted after an exhausting interview process. Your initial reaction might be disappointment or self-doubt. However, by shifting your perspective, you might recognize the opportunity to refine your skills, explore new possibilities, or spend more time pursuing passions outside of work. This reframing doesn't erase the difficulty of the situation, but it adds depth and resilience to your experience. Gratitude is also closely tied to contentment. In a culture that constantly encourages us to strive for more success, more possessions, more achievements, it's easy to fall into the trap of perpetual dissatisfaction. Gratitude reminds us that true happiness comes not from acquiring more, but from cherishing what we already have. By cultivating a sense of sufficiency, you free yourself from the endless chase for external validation and find peace within yourself. Here's a practical exercise to help you integrate gratitude into your daily routine. Start each morning by reflecting on 3 things you're grateful for. They can be anything, from the comfort of your bed to the love of your family, to the opportunities ahead of you. As you go about your day, make a conscious effort to notice moments of gratitude and pause to acknowledge them. Before bed, review your day and identify any additional blessings you encountered. Over time, this habit will become second nature, infusing your life with a steady stream of positivity. It's also important to acknowledge that practicing gratitude doesn't mean ignoring or denying hardship. Life is full of challenges, and pretending everything is fine when it's not can lead to repression and burnout. Authentic gratitude acknowledges pain while simultaneously seeking out sources of hope and resilience. For instance, If you're grieving the loss of a loved one, you might express gratitude for the memories you shared, the lessons they taught you, or the legacy they left behind. This dual awareness allows you to honor your emotions while staying connected to the goodness in your life. Finally, let's address how gratitude strengthens relationships. When you regularly express appreciation for the people in your life, you nurture trust, empathy, and mutual respect. Gratitude fosters a sense of reciprocity. When someone feels valued and seen, they're more likely to reciprocate those feelings. This creates a positive feedback loop that enriches your interactions and deepens your bonds. As we conclude this chapter, I want to leave you with an invitation. Make gratitude a cornerstone of your daily practice. Begin by noticing the small, overlooked details that bring you joy. Express your appreciation openly and sincerely to those around you. Reflect on the ways gratitude can reframe challenges and enhance your overall well-being. Before we move on to the next chapter, take a moment to reflect on this question. What are some things in your life right now that you feel genuinely grateful for? How might expressing gratitude more often change the way you experience your days? Allow yourself to sit with this question as we continue exploring ways to master your thoughts. Chapter 7: The Power of Mindful Breathing. Welcome to Chapter 7, where we'll delve into one of the simplest yet most profound practices you can incorporate into your life: mindful breathing. Breath is something we often take for granted. It happens automatically without any conscious effort. But when we bring awareness to our breath, it becomes a powerful anchor for presence, calm, and clarity. Mindful breathing is a cornerstone of mindfulness and meditation, offering an accessible way to connect with the present moment, anytime, anywhere. Let's start by exploring why the breath is such a potent tool for cultivating mindfulness. Your breath is always with you. It's constant, reliable, and ever-present. Unlike thoughts or emotions, which come and go unpredictably, your breath is steady and grounding. By focusing on it, you create a sense of stability amidst the chaos of daily life. Whether you're feeling stressed, anxious, distracted, or overwhelmed, returning to your breath provides an instant reset button for your mind and body. One of the most remarkable aspects of mindful breathing is its accessibility. You don't need any special equipment, training, or setting to practice it. All you need is your breath and a willingness to pay attention. This makes it an ideal practice for anyone, regardless of age, background, or experience level. Whether you're at home, in the office, commuting, or even waiting in line, you can use your breath to center yourself and find peace in the moment.
So, how does mindful breathing work? At its core, it's about observing your breath as it naturally flows in and out. There's no need to control or manipulate it. Simply notice the sensation of air entering your nostrils, filling your lungs, and leaving your body again. Pay attention to the rise and fall of your chest or abdomen. If your mind starts to wander, which it inevitably will, gently guide your focus back to your breath without judgment. Each time you return your attention, you strengthen your ability to stay present. Mindful breathing serves two primary purposes: calming the nervous system and sharpening mental focus. When you breathe deeply and intentionally, you activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which promotes relaxation and reduces stress. This is why taking a few deep breaths can help you feel calmer during moments of tension or anxiety. Additionally, focusing on your breath trains your mind to concentrate better, improving your ability to stay attentive and productive throughout the day. To illustrate the impact of mindful breathing, let's consider a common scenario. You're preparing for an important presentation at work. As the clock ticks closer to your turn, your heart races, your palms sweat, and your thoughts spiral into worst-case scenarios. In this moment, mindful breathing can be a lifeline. By pausing to take slow, deliberate breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth, you signal to your brain that you're safe, helping to quiet the fight or flight response. With each exhale, you release tension. With each inhale, you invite calmness and clarity. By the time you step up to speak, you'll feel more composed and confident. Now let's talk about how to integrate mindful breathing into your daily routine. One of the easiest ways to start is by setting aside just a few minutes each day for formal practice. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Sit comfortably, either cross-legged on the floor or in a chair with your feet flat on the ground, and close your eyes if it feels comfortable. Begin by taking 3 deep breaths, inhaling slowly through your nose and exhaling fully through your mouth. Then allow your breathing to return to its natural rhythm and simply observe it. Notice the coolness of the air as it enters your nostrils, the gentle expansion of your rib cage, and the warmth of the air as it leaves your body. If distractions arise, thoughts, sounds, physical sensations, acknowledge them briefly and then return your focus to your breath. You can also weave mindful breathing into everyday activities. For example, try pairing it with transitions between tasks. Before starting a new project, take 5 slow breaths to clear your mind and set an intention. Or use your commute as an opportunity to breathe mindfully, focusing on the rhythm of your inhalations and exhalations as you travel. Even mundane moments, like washing dishes or brushing your teeth, can become opportunities to reconnect with your breath and savor the simplicity of the present moment. Another powerful application of mindful breathing is managing difficult emotions. When you're feeling angry, frustrated, or overwhelmed, your breath can serve as a stabilizing force. Instead of reacting impulsively, pause and take a few conscious breaths. This creates a buffer between stimulus and response, giving you time to choose how to act rather than being swept away by emotion. Over time, this practice builds emotional resilience, empowering you to navigate challenges with greater ease and wisdom. Breath awareness is also central to many traditional meditation practices. In mindfulness meditation, the breath acts as an anchor, keeping your attention rooted in the present. Whenever your mind wanders, and it will wander frequently, you gently bring it back to your breath. This process of noticing and redirecting strengthens your capacity for sustained focus and self-awareness. Similarly, in loving-kindness meditation, the breath helps channel positive intentions outward, amplifying feelings of compassion and goodwill. For those who struggle with sleep issues, mindful breathing can be particularly beneficial. Many people lie awake at night because their minds are racing with worries or to-do lists. Practicing mindful breathing before bed or even while lying in bed can help quiet the mind and prepare the body for rest. Try this simple exercise. Place one hand on your chest and the other on your belly. Breathe deeply so that only the lower hand rises and falls, ensuring that you're engaging your diaphragm. Count each inhale and exhale, aiming for a steady rhythm. For example, inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, exhale for 6 counts. Repeat this cycle until you feel relaxed and ready to drift off. It's worth noting that mindful breathing isn't just about relaxation. It's also a gateway to deeper self-awareness. As you observe your breath, you may notice subtle shifts in its quality or pace. Perhaps your breathing becomes shallow when you're stressed, or rapid when you're excited. These insights provide valuable clues about your emotional state, helping you tune into your body's signals and respond more skillfully. Finally, let's address how mindful breathing fosters a sense of connection to yourself, others, and the world around you. Every breath reminds us of our interdependence with nature. The oxygen we inhale comes from trees and plants, while the carbon dioxide we exhale nourishes them in return. This symbiotic relationship underscores the interconnectedness of all living beings, reinforcing the idea that we're part of something larger than ourselves. By bringing awareness to your breath, you deepen your appreciation for this shared existence. As we wrap up this chapter, I want to leave you with a challenge. Commit to practicing mindful breathing for just 5 minutes every day over the next week. Set a timer if it helps and focus solely on your breath during that time. Notice how it affects your mood, energy levels, and overall sense of well-being. You might be surprised by how transformative such a simple practice can be. Before we move on to the next chapter, take a moment to reflect on this question.
how might incorporating mindful breathing into your daily life support your journey toward mastering your thoughts and cultivating inner peace? Allow yourself to sit with this question as we continue exploring ways to live more fully and authentically. Chapter 8: Overcoming Distractions and Finding Focus. Welcome to Chapter 8, where we'll tackle one of the most pervasive challenges of modern life: overcoming distractions and finding focus. In today's fast-paced, hyper-connected world, distractions are everywhere. From endless notifications on our phones to the constant hum of background noise, it's easy to feel scattered, overwhelmed, and unable to concentrate. But here's the good news. By understanding how distractions work and practicing mindfulness, you can reclaim your ability to focus and create space for what truly matters. Let's begin by acknowledging something fundamental. Distractions aren't inherently bad, they're simply part of being human. Our brains are wired to seek novelty, which made sense during our evolutionary history when spotting potential threats or opportunities was crucial for survival. However, in the modern age, this tendency often leads us astray. Instead of focusing on meaningful tasks or deep conversations, we find ourselves scrolling through social media, checking emails unnecessarily, or multitasking to the point of exhaustion. The result? We end up feeling frazzled, unproductive, and disconnected from the present moment. One of the first steps in overcoming distractions is recognizing their sources. Distractions can come from both external and internal factors. External distractions include things like loud noises, interruptions from others, or digital devices demanding your attention. Internal distractions, on the other hand, stem from within: restless thoughts, worries about the future, or unresolved emotions pulling your focus away. Both types of distractions disrupt your ability to concentrate, but they require different strategies to address effectively. Let's start with external distractions. One of the most effective ways to minimize them is by creating an environment that supports focus. This might involve setting boundaries with technology, for example, turning off non-essential notifications, putting your phone on airplane mode, or using apps that block distracting websites during work sessions. You can also designate specific times for checking emails or engaging with social media, rather than allowing these activities to interrupt your flow throughout the day. Additionally, consider tidying up your physical space. A clutter-free desk or workspace reduces visual noise and helps you stay centered on the task at hand. Another powerful technique is practicing time blocking. Time blocking involves scheduling dedicated periods for focused work, breaks, and leisure activities. During your focus blocks, commit to giving your full attention to one thing at a time. For instance, if you're writing a report, eliminate all other distractions and immerse yourself in the process. When the timer goes off, take a short break to recharge before diving back in. This method not only boosts productivity, but also trains your brain to sustain attention over longer stretches. Now, let's turn our attention to internal distractions, the mental chatter that competes for your attention. These distractions often arise when we're stressed, anxious, or fatigued. Thoughts like, "Did I send that email?" or "What will happen if I fail?" can hijack your mind, making it difficult to stay present. Mindfulness offers a solution. Instead of trying to suppress these thoughts, acknowledge them without judgment and gently guide your focus back to the task at hand. Think of your thoughts as clouds passing across the sky. They're temporary and they don't need to control you. To illustrate this, imagine you're reading an important document, but your mind keeps wandering to your grocery list or an upcoming meeting. Rather than berating yourself for losing focus, pause and take a few mindful breaths. Remind yourself that it's natural for your mind to wander, and then consciously redirect your attention to the words on the page. Each time you do this, you strengthen your ability to concentrate and reduce the power of distractions. Mindfulness meditation is another invaluable tool for overcoming distractions. During meditation, you practice observing your thoughts, emotions, and bodily sensations without getting caught up in them. This skill translates directly to real-life situations, helping you stay grounded even when distractions arise. For example, if you notice yourself reaching for your phone out of habit, pause and ask yourself, do I really need to check it right now? What am I avoiding or seeking by doing so? Often simply pausing and reflecting can interrupt the cycle of distraction and bring you back to the present moment. It's also helpful to understand the role of multitasking in perpetuating distractions. Many people believe that multitasking makes them more efficient, but research shows the opposite is true. Switching between tasks actually slows you down, increases errors, and depletes mental energy. Instead of trying to juggle multiple responsibilities at once, adopt a single tasking approach. Focus on one activity fully until it's complete, or until you've reached a natural stopping point before moving on to the next. Not only will this improve the quality of your work, but it will also leave you feeling calmer and more accomplished. Another key aspect of overcoming distractions is managing your energy levels. Fatigue, hunger, and dehydration can all impair your ability to focus, making you more susceptible to distractions. Prioritize self-care by getting enough sleep, eating nutritious meals, staying hydrated, and taking regular movement breaks. Physical activity in particular has been shown to enhance cognitive function and boost resilience against distractions. Even a quick walk around the block can refresh your mind and sharpen your focus. Well, here's a practical exercise to help you build focus and overcome distractions. Set aside 10 minutes each day for a focus challenge. Choose a simple task, reading a chapter of a book, solving a puzzle, or organizing your workspace, and commit to giving it your undivided attention for the entire duration. If your mind wanders or external distractions arise, gently bring your focus back to the task. Afterward, reflect on how it felt to sustain your attention and identify any patterns or triggers that pulled you away. Over time, this practice will train your brain to resist distractions more effectively. Finally, let's talk about the importance of intentionality in combating distractions. So much of our daily behavior happens on autopilot. We scroll through our phones, click on ads, or respond to messages without consciously deciding to do so. By setting clear intentions for your time and energy, you take back control. Before starting any activity, ask yourself, why am I doing this? Does it align with my values and goals? This simple act of reflection ensures that you're investing your attention in what truly matters, rather than wasting it on trivial pursuits. As we conclude this chapter, I want to leave you with a reminder. Overcoming distractions is not about achieving perfect focus. It's about developing the awareness and skills to navigate inevitable interruptions with grace and purpose. Distractions will always exist, but they don't have to dictate your life. With consistent practice, you can cultivate the ability to stay present, engaged, and productive, no matter what's happening around you. Before we move on to the next chapter, take a moment to reflect on this question. What are the biggest distractions in your life right now? And how might addressing them support your journey toward mastering your thoughts and living with greater intention? Allow yourself to sit with this question as we continue exploring ways to live more fully and authentically. Chapter 9. Integrating mindfulness into daily life. Welcome to Chapter 9, where we'll explore how to integrate mindfulness into your daily life. Up until now, we've discussed various practices like meditation, gratitude, mindful breathing, and overcoming distractions. But today we're focusing on weaving these tools seamlessly into the fabric of your everyday existence. Mindfulness isn't something you do only during formal meditation sessions. It's a way of living that can transform even the most ordinary moments into opportunities for growth, presence, and joy. Let's dive deeply into how you can make mindfulness a natural part of your routine. Let's start by understanding why integrating mindfulness into daily life is so important. When mindfulness remains confined to specific times or places, like sitting quietly on a cushion, it risks becoming just another task on your to-do list. But when you bring mindfulness into everything you do, it becomes a lens through which you view the world. It shifts from being an activity to being a mindset, a way of approaching life with curiosity, kindness, and awareness. This integration allows you to experience the benefits of mindfulness continuously, not just in isolated bursts. One of the most powerful ways to begin integrating mindfulness is by starting small. You don't need to overhaul your entire day or adopt complex rituals overnight. Instead, choose one or two simple activities that you already perform regularly and infuse them with mindfulness. For example, brushing your teeth is something most people do twice a day without much thought. But what if you use those 2 minutes to fully engage with the experience? Notice the sensation of the bristles against your gums, the taste of the toothpaste, the sound of the water running. By paying attention to these details, you turn a mundane chore into a moment of mindfulness. Another excellent opportunity for mindfulness is eating. Many of us eat while multitasking, scrolling through our phones, watching TV, or rushing between meetings. This habit not only diminishes our enjoyment of food, but also disrupts digestion and leads to overeating. Mindful eating invites you to slow down and savor each bite. Before you begin, take a moment to appreciate the colors, textures, and aromas of your meal. As you eat, notice the flavors and sensations in your mouth. Chew slowly and deliberately, allowing yourself to fully experience the nourishment your food provides. Over time, this practice fosters a healthier relationship with food and deepens your appreciation for the effort that went into preparing it. Walking is another activity ripe for mindfulness. Whether you're commuting to work, taking a stroll in the park, or simply moving from one room to another, walking offers countless chances to connect with the present moment. Instead of letting your mind wander or zoning out, focus on the physical sensations of walking, the feeling of your feet touching the ground, the rhythm of your steps, the movement of your arms. If you're outside, notice the sights, sounds, and smells around you. Walking mindfully transforms a routine action into a grounding, meditative experience. Now let's talk about how mindfulness can enhance communication, one of the most essential aspects of human connection. So often we listen to others while simultaneously planning our response, judging their words, or getting distracted by unrelated thoughts. Mindful listening flips this dynamic by encouraging you to give your full attention to the speaker. Focus on their tone of voice, facial expressions, and body language. Notice how their words land in your heart and mind. Resist the urge to interrupt or jump to conclusions. By truly hearing someone, you strengthen your bond with them and create space for deeper understanding. Mindfulness also has a profound impact on how you handle stress and challenges. When faced with difficulties, it's easy to react impulsively or spiral into negativity. Practicing mindfulness in the heat of the moment gives you the clarity and composure needed to respond skillfully. For instance, if you're stuck in traffic and feel irritation rising, pause and take 3 deep breaths. Observe the tension in your body and consciously relax your shoulders. Remind yourself that frustration won't change the situation, but patience and calmness will help you navigate it more effectively. These micro moments of mindfulness accumulate over time, building resilience and emotional intelligence. Here's a practical framework for integrating mindfulness throughout your day. Use transitions as cues to pause and reconnect. Transitions are the moments between activities, for example, waking up, leaving the house, switching tasks at work, or winding down before bed. During these transitions, take a few seconds to check in with yourself. How are you feeling physically, emotionally, mentally? Take a deep breath or set an intention for the next part of your day. These brief pauses anchor you in the present and prevent you from operating on autopilot. Another powerful strategy is creating mindfulness anchors, specific triggers that remind you to be present. These could be anything from hearing a certain sound, like birds chirping, to performing a particular action like opening a door. Each time your anchor occurs, use it as a signal to pause, breathe, and observe your surroundings. Over time, these anchors become second nature, helping you cultivate mindfulness effortlessly. It's also worth exploring how mindfulness can transform seemingly unpleasant experiences. For example, Waiting in line at the grocery store might feel tedious, but it's an ideal opportunity to practice patience and presence. Instead of fidgeting or checking your phone, notice the details around you, the colors of the products on the shelves, the hum of conversation, the sensation of standing still. Similarly, doing household chores like washing dishes or folding laundry can become acts of mindfulness if you approach them with care and attention. Feel the warmth of the water, the texture of the fabric, the satisfaction of completing a task well. For those who struggle with consistency, habits play a crucial role in making mindfulness stick. Start by identifying one mindful habit you'd like to establish, such as drinking a glass of water mindfully each morning, taking 5 mindful breaths before every meal, or reflecting on 3 things you're grateful for before bed. Once this habit feels natural, layer in additional practices gradually. The key is to build momentum without overwhelming yourself. Remember, mindfulness is a journey, not a destination. Finally, let's address the importance of self-compassion in integrating mindfulness. There will be days when you forget to be mindful, get caught up in distractions, or feel frustrated with your progress. That's perfectly okay. Mindfulness isn't about achieving perfection, it's about showing up with kindness and curiosity, even when things don't go as planned. Treat yourself with the same compassion you'd offer a friend who's learning something new. Celebrate your successes, no matter how small, and forgive yourself for setbacks. As we wrap up this chapter, I want to leave you with a challenge. Commit to incorporating mindfulness into at least 3 daily activities over the next week. Choose actions that are already part of your routine, such as showering, driving, or having conversations. Approach these activities with full attention, noticing the sights, sounds, sensations, and emotions they evoke. Reflect on how this shift in perspective affects your overall sense of peace and fulfillment. Before we move on to the final chapter, take a moment to reflect on this question. What areas of your life would benefit most from greater mindfulness, and how might cultivating presence in those moments deepen your connection to yourself and the world around you? Allow yourself to sit with this question as we prepare to conclude our journey together. Chapter 10. Bringing it all together. Welcome to Chapter 10, where we bring everything we've explored together into a cohesive whole. This is the culmination of our journey, a moment to reflect on how Buddhism, meditation, mindfulness, and all the practices we've discussed can work harmoniously to help you master your thoughts and live with greater clarity, peace, and purpose. Think of this chapter as a guidebook for integrating these teachings into your life in a way that feels sustainable, meaningful, and transformative. Let's start by acknowledging something profound. The tools and insights we've covered aren't isolated concepts. They're interconnected threads in a rich tapestry of personal growth. Each practice builds upon the others, creating a foundation for lasting change. For example, cultivating awareness helps you recognize patterns in your thoughts and emotions. Practicing compassion allows you to relate to yourself and others with kindness and understanding. Mindful breathing anchors you in the present moment, while gratitude shifts your perspective toward abundance. Together, these practices form a holistic approach to navigating life's challenges and joys with grace and resilience. One of the most important lessons from Buddhism is that transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process of unfolding. Just as a seed grows into a tree through consistent care, watering, sunlight, and nourishment, your inner growth requires patience, dedication, and nurturing. You might not see immediate results, but every small step you take plants seeds of change that will blossom over time. Trust the process and remember that progress is rarely linear. There will be moments of breakthrough and moments of struggle, but both are essential parts of the journey. Now let's talk about how to sustain these practices long term. One of the biggest obstacles people face is maintaining consistency. Life gets busy, priorities shift, and it's easy to let mindfulness fall by the wayside. To prevent this, it's crucial to make these practices a non-negotiable part of your routine, like brushing your teeth or eating meals. Start by setting realistic goals. If committing to 30 minutes of meditation each day feels overwhelming, begin with 5 minutes. Over time, you can gradually increase the duration as your habit solidifies. The key is to prioritize consistency over intensity. Even short daily practices yield significant benefits when done regularly. Another powerful strategy is creating a supportive environment. Surround yourself with reminders of your intentions. For example, placing a journal on your nightstand to encourage reflection, keeping a cushion in a quiet corner for meditation, or setting gentle alarms to pause and breathe throughout the day. You can also seek out like-minded communities, whether online or in person, to share experiences, ask questions, and stay motivated. Knowing that others are walking similar paths reminds you that you're not alone in this journey. It's also helpful to celebrate milestones along the way. Growth isn't always visible, so take time to acknowledge your progress. No matter how small, did you notice a recurring thought pattern and choose to respond differently? That's worth celebrating. Did you practice mindful breathing during a stressful moment and feel calmer as a result? That's progress. Celebrating these victories reinforces positive behaviors and keeps you inspired to continue. Now let's explore how to balance structure with flexibility. While routines provide stability, rigidity can lead to frustration if you miss a session or encounter setbacks. Instead of beating yourself up for falling off track, adopt an attitude of curiosity and self-compassion. Ask yourself, what got in the way? How can I adjust my approach to better fit my needs? Sometimes the answer might involve tweaking your schedule, trying a new technique, or simply giving yourself permission to rest. Flexibility ensures that your practice remains adaptable and aligned with your evolving circumstances. Mindfulness isn't just about individual well-being, it's also about contributing to the collective good. When you cultivate awareness, compassion, and gratitude, you naturally extend those qualities outward, creating ripples of positivity in your relationships and community. For instance, expressing appreciation to a colleague boosts morale. Listening attentively to a friend strengthens your bond. Volunteering your time or resources supports causes you believe in. These acts of kindness amplify the impact of your practice, reminding you that personal growth and social responsibility go hand in hand. Let's also address how mindfulness helps you navigate transitions and uncertainty. Life is inherently unpredictable, filled with changes both expected and unexpected. Whether it's starting a new job, moving to a different city, facing health challenges, or grieving a loss, transitions often bring discomfort and fear. Mindfulness equips you to meet these moments with openness and courage. By staying grounded in the present, you reduce anxiety about the future and regret about the past. You learn to embrace impermanence, not as something to resist, but as a natural part of existence that invites growth and renewal. Here's a practical framework for bringing everything together. Begin each day with a brief mindfulness ritual. This could include 3 deep breaths, a moment of gratitude, or a short meditation. Throughout the day, use mindful anchors like drinking water, walking, or transitioning between tasks to reconnect with the present. In the evening, reflect on your experiences. What went well? What challenged you? What did you learn? Journaling can be especially helpful here, providing a space to process emotions and insights. Over time, these rituals become ingrained habits that support your overall well-being. Finally, let's talk about the role of intention in sustaining mindfulness. Intention is the guiding force behind your actions, the why that motivates you to show up consistently. Take a moment to clarify your intentions for practicing mindfulness. Are you seeking greater peace, deeper connections, improved focus, or enhanced emotional resilience? Whatever your reasons, revisit them often to reignite your motivation. Write them down, post them somewhere visible, or repeat them silently during challenging moments. A strong sense of purpose keeps you anchored and inspired. As we conclude this chapter, I want to leave you with a final thought. Mastering your thoughts isn't about controlling them, it's about relating to them skillfully. It's about recognizing their transient nature, observing them without attachment, and choosing which ones to act on. Through mindfulness, you develop the awareness and wisdom needed to navigate this intricate dance. And as you do, you discover a profound truth. Peace isn't something you find outside yourself, it's something you cultivate within. Before we move on to the closing, take a moment to reflect on this question. How has this journey impacted you so far, and what steps will you take to continue integrating mindfulness into your life? Allow yourself to sit with this question as we prepare to wrap up our exploration together. Thank you for joining me on this journey through Buddhism, meditation, mindfulness, and the art of mastering your thoughts. I hope that over the course of this video, you've gained insights, tools, and inspiration to bring more peace, clarity, and joy into your life. Whether you're just beginning this path or deepening an existing practice, remember that every step you take matters. Growth happens not in giant leaps, but in small, consistent actions, the kind that ripple outward and transform your inner world over time. As we close, I want to leave you with one final reflection. Life is a gift, and each moment offers an opportunity to connect with yourself, with others, and with the beauty of existence. Mindfulness reminds us to slow down, pay attention, and savor these moments fully. It invites us to embrace imperfection, celebrate progress, and trust the unfolding of our journey. There will be challenges, yes, but there will also be light, love, and countless chances to start anew. If anything resonated with you today, a practice, a story, or simply a shift in perspective, I encourage you to take it forward. Experiment with what feels right for you. Maybe it's setting aside 5 minutes each morning to breathe mindfully. Perhaps it's pausing before reacting to notice your thoughts and emotions. Or maybe it's cultivating gratitude by reflecting on 3 things you appreciate at the end of each day. Whatever you choose, approach it with kindness and curiosity, knowing that even the smallest steps can lead to profound transformation. Remember, this isn't about perfection, it's about presence. You don't need to have everything figured out. To begin, all you need is a willingness to show up, stay open, and trust the process. And if you ever feel lost or overwhelmed, come back to your breath. It's always there, steady and grounding, ready to guide you home to the present moment. Before we part ways, I'd like to express my gratitude for spending this time with me here on the Mindful Zone. Your presence makes this space meaningful, and I'm honored to share this journey with you. If you found value in today's exploration, please consider subscribing to the channel and sharing this video with anyone who might benefit from it. Together we can create a community rooted in mindfulness, compassion, and growth. As you move forward, carry this reminder with you. You already possess everything you need to live a life full of intention, awareness, and fulfillment. Trust yourself, trust the process, and above all, trust that every breath you take is an invitation to begin again, to reconnect, renew, and rediscover the infinite possibilities within you. Until next time, may you walk gently, breathe deeply, and shine brightly. Namaste.